This is a review of the newer Z2 Pro Roundhead Flash. Now this is a flash aimed more at studio shooting and portrait shooting. I don't take many photos of people, so for this video I will only be using this flash for macro photography. First things first, the thing you'll notice here is the round head, which for a light seems a lot more practical than your usual rectangle flash. On the side here is the battery slot, and here you'll find a lithium-ion rechargeable battery. This is a lot better than the dreaded AA battery, and can hold a charge for up to 4 to 5 hours. This also has a USB-C port on it, so you can either charge it in the flash or out. Flipping it over now, and here is a rather large LCD screen. It's super bright and not an issue in bright sunlight either. So for me, as a macro photographer, this is pretty great. Going through the buttons here, the first one is your zoom, that goes from 28 to 105 millimeters. This can be controlled with the scroll wheel as well. If you hold this button down, you can access the menu, which has a few more options. The most interesting thing here is the ability to connect to other brand flash triggers or commanders, notably any Godox triggers. Next is the slave button. Over to the mode button now, and this cycles through manual, repeat and TTL. On the opposite side there is a simple and easy manual to TTL switch. Since I mostly shoot manual flash for my macro photography, I'll just keep it here in manual. Back to the screen now, and here is your test button. Over here is the button to access any flash trigger or commander. Now over here on this light button icon is the ability to have a constant light on, to help with any autofocusing in low light. These modeling lights would also be a great light to have for video. In the middle is the power button, and the scroll wheel here obviously sets your power up or down. You can turn the flash power down quite a bit, with the minimum being 1/256 power, which is quite cool. The flash itself is 14 centimeters long and 20 centimeters with the head vertical. It weighs in at 600 grams, with most of that weight being in the head. Now that's all the buttons and ergonomics, so now let's jump out into the field and put the newer Z2 Pro to the test with a bit of macro photography. Alright, so my setup I'm using today is a Nikon Z8 with a Nikon 105 and a Cygnus Tech macro diffuser attached to the flash. So today I'm in my backyard, and it's winter at the moment where I am, which, you know, when I say winter, it's about 17 degrees Celsius, so not too bad all things considered, but it does affect insects in the area, so they're a little bit dormant. They're hibernating through this, so it's a little bit hard to track them down and see where they are, but I'll do my best today. What I want to capture today is I want to see how well this flash is for macro photography. So I want to see if the light is even when I do take a photo. I want to see how many shots I can get from one charge of battery, how long I can shoot without having to charge it or change a battery out as well. So that's the agenda for today. So I'm going to be on the lookout for any sort of movement. There's a few bees that I can see, so I'll take some photos of them later. But let's see what I can find and put this flash through its paces. So there's nothing really happening in this shrub at the moment. If you have seen other videos that I've done where I've taken photos of this shrub when it was in full bloom and there's bees everywhere, it's just dormant at the moment. But there are a lot of buds coming up at the moment, which is a couple of weeks it'll be back to its glorious red self again. There's a few flowers here, but there is nothing going on here. There's no insects, nothing whatsoever. But I might just take some photos of some of these buds. They do look cool as they're starting to emerge out. So some of them are opening, some of them are just sort of coming. So let's see how that looks. I think a good diffuser will help with the power of this flash. What I might do now is focus on some bees, get a little bit more action shots here. But so far, the flash is holding up pretty well, but I think the diffuser is doing a lot of work here. Bees absolutely love these flowers, and there's a few zipping around at the moment. Not as many as I'd like because of how hot it is, or how cold it is rather. So I'm going to try and get photos of the ones that are here with a bit of burst shooting. So I may just have to work my way along here. Try not to cast a shadow because the light is behind me. But yeah, it's going to be pretty tricky to do. But let's get into it. Alright, so now I'm going to just absolutely smash the shutter button and just fire at high speed burst shooting. See how well it performs here. Look at these shots in burst mode. Look at how even the light is across this sequence of shots. A couple are a little bit darker, but generally to have shots in a high speed sequence like this, to be well lit and not dark, is pretty cool. Very nice. While I was shooting these bees, I couldn't get them to be sharp while in flight. This was because I was locked at a shutter of 200. In order to change this, I had to turn on high-speed syncing in my camera. For Nikon users, you can change this by going into your menu, to bracketing flash, and finding flash sync speed. Changing this setting allowed me to shoot a faster shutter than 200, as the newer Z2 Pro supports high-speed syncing. And now, the bees are super sharp while in flight. Much better. Now I've finally found a decent insect. Here is a ladybird. Ladybirds can be tricky to shoot since they are quite aware of the large mammal dangling a camera in their face, but luckily since the weather is a bit chilly, this one was a lot more sluggish to get out of the way. You will notice some highlights on the leaf here. This is due to the diffuser not properly diffusing the light, which is more my fault for not lowering the flash power down a bit. Now moving around the garden here to these shrubs. These shrubs have a bit more life since they're more in the sun, but it's still a bit lean to find any insects. Jumping spiders are always on the macro menu, and this guy was ready for his portrait to be taken. Notice the lack of highlights and even light here. Just great stuff. Now have a look at this fly. Check out the details and the even light here. Just incredible stuff. The diffuser is doing a lot of work here, but it just shows off how well a scene can be lit with this flash. Really great. So there you go, the newer Z2 Pro flash. This is an excellent flash, and I must admit when I started using it, I thought it was a little bit excessive for my macro photography. But after using it for a couple of days non-stop now, I have to say it is phenomenal, and I'll be using it as my main macro photography flash going forward. The fact that I am still on the same single battery charge after 2 full days of non-stop shooting is just unreal. That means no more rechargeable AA batteries. Thank goodness. The power and even light is also really great, and I can also shoot with a fast shutter with no issues. The high-speed syncing when burst shooting is also really fantastic. Look, I really like this flash and can't recommend it enough. As usual, thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.